very upfront with you, Kathryn. I had 2.5 pints immediately before this recording, so we'll see how this goes.
Okay, wait. Because we're an ice cream podcast, you have to clarify. Do you mean beer or ice cream?
I had 2.5 pints of Ben and Jerry's.
I'm assuming you mean drinking, but
I do unfortunately mean beer. But how funny would it be if I just had like 2 empty pints of Ben and Jerry's right behind me?
Well, let me show you why that's kind of funny and realistic to me.
Is that an empty?
I have today. No, it's not empty.
It's not empty.
Not
okay.
yet.
Mine's in a mug.
Okay. Yeah, I'll explain my situation here in a second, because as you'll notice, this is not a float. I'm keeping all this in, just so you know, because that's fucking hilarious. So hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to I Scream, You Scream. We are your weekly scoop of the most chilling histories, mysteries, and paranormal perplexities. My name is Kathryn.
I'm Gina.
And what month are we in? July. It is July. Hot as hell. We are, I think, both coming out of our heat waves. Mm-hmm. And to help us through the heat wave, we are talking about bodies of water while we eat/drink ice cream floats. Allegedly, I will address my situation in a moment. Don't worry. If you already know us and you've been hanging out with us for a while, welcome back. And if you want more from us each month, go on over and join us on Patreon, just like our brand new friend, Plastic Daisies, who is the latest member over on Patreon. Thank you so much for being there. Shout out to you. Yeah, and just as a reminder, not as a reminder because I haven't said it yet. Sorry. we were doing great. I was doing great.
You still are.
This is what this episode is going to be. Oh my god. Anyway, okay. This episode is sponsored by Clobear Money Coach, so if you're ready to start investing but unsure how exactly to get started, go over and visit Get Lazy Now for a green? Gina, what is happening to me?
I can't tell you, but I like it.
Green money, get it? I meant to say a free guide to walk you through how to get started investing the lazy way. Until then, grab a spoon or a straw or a glass or whatever you have, and let's dig in.
Hell yeah, man. All right, tell me what's going on with your pint over there.
So I messed up. Here's what happened. I have to go to the grocery store because we are going to a birthday party /housewarming / whatever the hell this afternoon, immediately after we're done recording, and I need to go get a veggie tray. And I was like, cool, I'll just get soda and ice cream when I go do that after we record, which doesn't make sense. So, Phil got this he went, have I ever taken you to that Archie's place, that smash burger place? But I've mentioned
you told me about
it though.
Yeah, you told me about it.
So it's attached to Scratch Ice Cream, one of our local favorites. Phil went there with a friend the other night and brought home some ice cream, which actually, fun fact, I also went to dinner there with my dad the night before, and he bought me a scoop of the same exact ice cream. So
Aww.
Shout out to both of the men in my life for knowing that I like Door County cherry ice cream. So I am eating Door County cherry ice cream.
Does it have chocolate in it, or is it just cherry?
Yes. Girl, look at this. Here,
you're
let me show you. Let me show you what these bits look like. I don't know if you can see it with my light.
Man,
it might be too. There's so many in here.
There's a lot of bits. That's so nice. All right.
That's so good.
I feel like that counts as a float, because if you let it melt a little bit, what is a float if not ice cream in liquid? That's a float.
The bits are floating in the melted ice cream. You get it. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
It's like a cannibalism float, floating in its own liquid. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
We're really having one of those episodes.
I also went non-traditional with my float today.
Oh, what'd you do? Is it different?
It is different. I put it in so it's in a special little bee coffee mug. I love this mug very much. And it's ice cream in espresso. Went for a little affogato situation because I recently made some mocha ice cream because mocha is one of Tom's like favorite things ever, and my sister sent me a recipe
nice.
for it. So I was like, perfect, boom, that counts as a float. What I didn't consider is that espresso is very warm, so my ice cream is melted.
Yeah.
It is fully
That's
liquid
okay.
now, but it
Yeah,
is still
that's all right.
delicious.
That's a true, yeah, not quite a float, but that is a true, what is it
Sink?
called? Affogato? I never know. I'm always scared to say that out loud because it's one that I've only ever read or heard other people say. And then when it's time for me to say it, I'm like, I don't like saying it.
You know the syllables, not the sound.
Yeah, exactly. I get the cadence. The cadence I've got on lock. It's the actual word that is
I mean,
hard.
to be fair, I don't think I've ever heard someone else say it. I've just been saying it with confidence under the assumption that people would believe I was saying it correctly.
I'm pretty sure I've heard other people say it
Affogato.
the way you're saying it, but I'm still too scared to say. Ice cream, @gmail.com. How do you say that word? That I
Please
refuse
email
to
us
say?
the phonetic pronunciation of how you
Do we
say
have
it.
any Italians that listen to us? Do we have anyone like
If so,
from Italy?
buongiorno. How do you say this?
Listen, everyone, I was late to recording today and I'm a little bit struggling, so sorry about everything that's happening right now. To move us along, because I keep holding us up, I do have another birthday shout out this week. Technically, two. My schedule is all messed up. So, birthday shout out to my niece, who is going to be 14. And did I tell you this? I haven't told the listeners yet. She qualified for some race thing. Did I tell you about her like running situation?
You did.
Yeah, she qualified for the Junior Olympics for sprinting, whatever the hell that means. I don't know what it means, but I know it's cool. So,
That's so cool.
Shout out to her.
Wild.
Yeah. And then also, happy birthday to my husband this week. Forgot about that.
Wow. I have it in my calendar and I forgot about that.
Yeah, I literally have niece birthday shout out in the notes and not for Phil. So
I also like that
anyway.
you said my husband, not Phil.
Well, just
Happy
to
birthday to that
emphasize,
guy.
yeah, just to emphasize why I feel bad for not having it in the notes. Whatever, he doesn't
that's
listen
fair.
to this anyway. We can say literally whatever we want. He's gonna be 75 years old.
For his birthday, he's getting a double knee replacement.
Oh my god, probably.
Well, very happy birthday to your niece and also Phil. Friend of the pod, Phil.
Friend of the pod, Phil. Yes. I don't want to hold this up any longer. I'm just like losing my mind today. I'm super excited about this topic. So do you mind if we just jump into it?
Yeah, hell yeah. Let's
I'm so
jump
happy
into
you're
it.
doing this one. Okay, cool.
Let's jump in. Some would say to the deep end.
Oh, some would say that.
Not me. Anyway, we're talking folklore today. We simply could not let Bodies of Water Month pass us by without addressing the massive amount of magical creatures said to live beneath waves. Sadly, I cannot talk about all of those creatures today, but we are going to zero in on a personal favorite of mine, and I believe a personal favorite of yours too, which is Selkies.
Yes, I never talk about them, but like deep down, they're just one of my favorites.
They are wonderful, right? Like they inspire a lot of enchantment and wonder, which is one of the things I love about them. And for those who are unfamiliar with Selkies, they're kind of these mythological shape-shifting beings that switch between the form of a seal and the form of a human. And they do that by putting on or taking off a seal skin, which sounds gross, but it's kind of like a full body suit situation. So when the seal skin is on, they look exactly like a seal swimming around, playing in the water. And then when they take the seal skin off, they become these beautiful, sexy humans that walk around on land and get up to all sorts of shenanigans. Quick content warning before I continue. A lot of Selkie folklore deals with themes like forced marriage, drowning, and also animal death. There's not going to be anything graphic in this episode, but just a heads up that some of the stories I'm going to tell are going to make us both sad and angry. But if it's any consolation, at points we will also feel enchanted and whimsical. Don't know why I'm trying to sell you on this episode. You have no choice other than to sit here listening to me, Kathryn.
My
Rest
two
assured,
favorite ways of being.
Yes, and this episode likely will change your life. Don't hold me to that. Anyway, here we go. So, the myth of Selkies comes from a lot of different cultures. It's not isolated to any one specific place, but it's most commonly associated with Celtic and Norse cultures, and specifically the very, very north of Scotland, where the Shetland and the Orkney Islands are. And Selkies also appear all over the rest of Scotland as well, along with Ireland and Iceland. So there's a lot of different cultures at play here, a lot of different traditions coming together in this episode. And of course, every country, every culture, every town, every village has their own kind of spin on Selkie lore, and in particular, where Selkies come from, what they actually are. Some say that they are the reincarnation of people who have drowned. Others say that they are just humans trapped in a seal form. And if you do want to get super Christian about it, which I know we do a lot on this podcast, some also say that Selkies are fallen angels who happened to land in the sea, whereas fallen angels who landed on land became fairies. So Selkies are also kind of the fairies of the sea, depending on your tradition.
Oh my God, I've never heard that before. That's kind
Isn't
of
that fun? Yeah, that's super fun. And of course, there are also the lamos who say that Selkies are none of these things, but are actually just a way of explaining like certain medical conditions before modern science. So like, for example, when children were born with webbed fingers or things like that, people would say, oh, they have Selkie blood. And it was a way of explaining that.
My dad has webbed toes. That means there's Selkie blood in my family.
You have Selkie blood. You're tied to the water. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow.
You do very much have Selkie blood. Personally, I'm big into the fairies of the sea thing. That's what makes me feel the most excited. And also, to be fair, like the way that Selkies are often characterized is very similar to the way we speak about the Fae. Because Selkies are not purely good nor purely evil beings. They can be super friendly, they can be genuinely helpful, they can also be very vindictive and very manipulative. Because just like Fae, Selkies are beings that embody nature and all of the wonder and danger that nature simultaneously holds. And so it makes sense that Selkies are both wonderful and dangerous. And this is one of the things that distinguishes Selkies from Kelpies, which is another type of mythological creature and one that Selkies are often confused with. Selkies are not necessarily there to hurt you. Kelpies very much are. Kelpies are a type of water horse spirit, and its whole thing is that it like tricks humans into entering the water so it can drag you down into the depths and eat you. And very scary. And also, one of the things that freaks me out the most about Kelpies is that part of their lore is that they have very sticky skin. So if you see a water horse and even if you touch it, you can't get away from it and it will still drag you down. And it's very, very scary stuff. In some stories, Kelpies can also shapeshift into humans, but for the most part in lore, they are just very, very hungry horses. And they're much more of an overtly bad thing. Whereas Selkies are much more human-like in that they have lots of layered motivations and complexity to them. They're not purely good nor purely evil, nor are they all striving towards a specific goal in the way that Kelpies just want to eat people. Honestly, like the most malicious part about Selkie lore is that male Selkies are said to seduce married human women. So like not nice, but not exactly evil, and also very Fae.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that feels very like trickstery.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, I think the landed Fae that we tend to think of, they're more of like the trickster spirits that we would associate with, whereas Selkies are more, I would call them almost like fickle, like just not quite reliable because they're doing things for their own ends. Whereas I think landed Fae we tend to think of as more overtly like pranksters. Like they like doing things just for shits and gigs. Selkies are more like they have their own stuff that they're focused on. They're not necessarily focused on entertainment through humans. Another aspect of Selkies that to me is very Fae-coded is that they're said to love dancing under the light of the moon. I know. It's like supposedly one of their favorite things to do. And it's actually very often how Selkie stories start is that they'll come ashore, they'll take off their seal skins, become human, and then they'll have like a big Selkie dance party until the sun rises. And this is also a very kind of inherently risky hobby for Selkies because when they dance in the moonlight, they like to be in their human form. And to be in their human form, they have to take their seal skin off and store it somewhere very, very safe because without that skin, they're stuck as a human. And also, every seal skin is unique. So if you happen to lose yours, you can't just go to your Selkie buddy and say, hey, can I borrow your seal skin for a sec? It doesn't really work like that. To Selkies, a seal skin is just as important and unique as any other part of their body. It's like how if I lost my hand, I couldn't ask to borrow yours kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And once they do take their seal skin off, they could like technically physically carry the seal skin around with them to make sure that it doesn't get lost. But it does make it very difficult to dance under the moon if you're lugging a big old seal skin around with you. And also, when Selkies happen to come ashore for other things, carrying that skin around really gets in the way. Because, for example, if you are a male Selkie coming ashore to find a lonely farmer's wife to keep you company, carrying a giant seal skin around with you is going to be a pretty big giveaway that you're a homewrecker. So more often than not, they leave their skin somewhere else when they take on a human form. It's just like what Selkies do.
I'm imagining the feeling and the emotional conundrum that I am in when we go to a concert in the wintertime. It's like you have your coat, but then once you get in there, you're going to be like bopping around and dancing. It's going to be hot. And it's like, you don't want to lug it around. But so it's like, do you want to be hot for a couple hours or do you want to be freezing deliriously cold for like a few minutes?
It's the same reason that I ran around Milwaukee when I was 20 years old wearing in 30-degree weather, wearing not nearly enough clothes. Because it's just easier to fucking not. If there's an option to not.
It'd be better to be miserable just that amount of time versus miserable for the entire dance party under the moon.
Completely agree. And
you get it.
I get Selkies. I would love to be a Selkie. It sounds like so much fun.
I know.
I'm loving
now, this.
At the top of the episode, we will get into some of the bad, not good things that happen to Selkies. But for this part, dancing under the moon sounds absolutely great. You know what scares me even more than ghosts? My bank account, and especially saving for retirement.
If you feel the same way about your own retirement savings, fret not, little spoons, because we've got something to save you from yourselves.
Our friend of the pod, Chloe, aka Chloe Bear Money Coach, and founder of the Lazy Investors course, is teaching women how to build wealth without turning into a finance bro. If investing feels confusing, overwhelming, or just downright terrifying, download Chloe's free investing guide at getlazynow.com.
It walks you through how to build wealth the lazy way, which I can personally attest to because I've been using her services for many years, and you all know how lazy I like to be. Effort, gross, hate it. If you hate it too, visit getlazynow.com to grab the free investing guide from Chloe Bear Money Coach. That's getlazynow.com.
Another thing that's really awesome about Selkies, or that would be really awesome about being a Selkie, is that when they adopt a human form, they're said to be like drop-dead dime pieces. They are the hottest of hot. So sexy, so gorgeous. A lot of the stories focus on the women Selkies being really hot, but the men are too. And when I said that male Selkies are known for seducing married women, that is putting it like aggressively lightly. They're kind of described as like mythological Casanovas. And according to some stories, they even have like seduction magic to them. There's like an otherworldly component to how attractive they are. So some traditions say that women in unsatisfying partnerships can summon a super hot Selkie lover by crying 7 tears into the ocean. And that if you do that, a very sexy Selkie man will appear and he will treat you right.
Oh my God, I'm loving this. I don't know anything
Isn't it
about
so much
male
fun?
Selkies. I've only ever heard of like, I thought of them as like mermaids, which I guess
So
are
they are,
maybe
I mean, they
not
are like kind of a
mermaids,
type
but
of mermaid because they
yeah.
are very similar to mermaids. They're kind of half human, half aquatic. It's just that
Hmm.
instead of having half human, half fish bodies, they are either wholly aquatic in being a seal
Yeah.
or they are wholly human. They shift from one to the other. They don't really operate in the physically liminal space that mermaids do, but they're often
Hmm.
compared.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And to be fair, with the whole like male Selkie being super seductive thing, like that's not a universal belief. Very few things about Selkies are a universal belief. According to some traditions, Selkies are actually very restricted on how often they can transform into a human. And a lot of times it takes a lot more than just a lonely farmer's wife crying 7 tears into the ocean. In some traditions, it's based on the season. So, for example, Selkies can only transform in the springtime. Or sometimes the season is irrelevant, but they have to wait for like the tidal conditions to be absolutely perfect before transforming. And in some stories, they can only transform at specific time intervals, like every 7 days or every 7 years or something like that. But there are two things that are almost always true in every version of Selkie mythology that we have, which is number one, Selkies are meant to move between both the land and the sea. And if they somehow get stuck on the land, they will always pine for the water. And the second thing is that once they take their seal skin off, they are stuck in their human form until the seal skin goes back on again. So if the skin gets lost or stolen, it's very, very bad news for the Selkie. And unfortunately, that's the way a lot of Selkie stories start. And specifically, a female Selkie will get her seal skin stolen by a human man, and then bullshit ensues. It's a trope so common in Selkie lore that it's referred to as the Selkie bride. So I'm going to read a version of this story to you now. And I will say there are hundreds, if not thousands, of versions of the Selkie bride. So if anyone listening to this grew up with a different version of this or a different type of Selkie folklore, please send it to icecreamyscreampod@gmail.com. I would absolutely love to learn more about what your experience was. The version I'm going to read comes from Traditional Arts and Culture Scotland, which is a co-op that focuses on preserving traditional Scottish music, languages, and of course, stories and lore. So this is a very representative version of the most traditional Selkie bride stories that we have. So this is the Selkie bride. Long ago, on the west coast of Scotland, a fisherman had spent all day at sea, but he had only caught a few very small fish. So as night began to fall, he rowed to shore and beached his little boat. As he walked towards his cottage across the pebbly beach, he heard beautiful voices singing a song more beautiful than any he had ever heard. He turned toward the sound, and there, near the water, a dozen Selkie folk were laughing and playing and singing. The fisherman couldn't believe his eyes. Very few people ever saw the seal folk who now and then cast aside their skins and took on human forms to play on shore. He stood and stared, but when the Selkie folk noticed him, they quickly dived into the sea, and slipping beneath the rolling waves, they disappeared. I must have been dreaming, said the fisherman aloud, and again he turned toward his cottage. But something nagged at him, so he turned again. And this time, he noticed something sleek and shiny lying on a rock. He walked closer, and now he saw it was a seal skin. No one will ever believe I've seen the Selkies unless I show them this, he said, and he leaned over and picked up the skin and slung it over his shoulder. I could make a pretty penny if I sell this, he said. Just as he spoke, he heard footsteps close behind him, and he quickly turned to look. There was an exquisitely beautiful young woman, and she was weeping so hard it nearly caused the fisherman's heart to break. Beautiful lady, he said, why do you cry? She sniffed and looked into his eyes. Kind sir, she said, choking back tears, you have my sealskin. Please give it back, for I belong to the Selkies, and I cannot live under the sea without my skin. The fisherman could not stop staring. You see, he had fallen in love at first sight. And because he was agreed. And because he was a young man and terribly headstrong, he thought he must keep her with him. So he clutched the sealskin hard to his chest. This is the part that's going to piss us off. Sorry, I should have warned you before I started reading the story.
Oh, I knew. I mean, as soon as, I knew. It's
Okay. We're in it together. All right.
so obnoxious. It's because this is how all of these stories go. That's why.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as it's the something bride, it's like, well, that sucks for her, probably.
She had no
find out
choice.
why. Yeah.
Let's find out which flavor of awful this is.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Dear lady, he said gently, be my wife, for I have fallen in love with you, and without your sealskin, you'll have to live on land. I'll make you happy, I promise. Please, sir, she cried. I could never be happy on land, and my folk will be so worried. I must go home. But the young man was stubborn. So he smiled as sweetly as he could, bowed his head, and bent down on one knee. Dear woman, I have a cozy little cottage. I'll keep you warm by the fire. I'll feed you all the fresh fish you could ever wish to eat. I promise you will live a happy life on the land. Please agree to be my bride. The young woman was helpless without her skin. She was trapped on the land and couldn't get back to her home in the sea. So she took his hand and he led her home. Surely she would manage to get her skin back from him soon, she thought. For many weeks, the fisherman kept the sealskin with him, for he feared his bride-to-be would steal it and slip away. But after a while, the selkie began to settle into life on land, and when the fisherman saw this, he pushed the skin inside a crevice in the chimney. She'll never find it here, he said to himself. Another month went by, and they got married. They were very happy, and the fisherman was kind and generous. He truly loved his wife, and he always worked to make her happy, although he was still very stubborn. After a while, the selkie woman grew to love her stubborn husband, and sometimes she would sing to him. Those nights, he thought he was the happiest man in the world. As the years passed, the couple had 7 children, and the selkie wife loved these lads and lassies with all her heart. Occasionally, the children would find their mother on the beach, gazing wistfully out to sea. Mother, why do you look so sad? They would ask. Oh, I've only been dreaming too long, she would say, and then she would shake her head and kiss their foreheads. One day, the fisherman and the 3 eldest children went out in their boat to catch fish. The next 3 walked to the village to buy some bread and milk, and the mother and her youngest son stayed home alone. Now the mother looked out at the window and watched the waves crashing on shore. Far in the distance, she noticed on the slick black rocks a band of seals played and barked. She sighed deeply, and her eyes filled with tears. Her youngest son ran to her side. Mother, what's wrong? He asked. Whenever you look out to sea, you grow so sad. Without thinking, she turned and said, I'm sad because I was born in the sea. It's the home to which I can never return because your father has hidden my sealskin. Now the boy, like all children in Scotland, has heard tales of the selkie folk, so right away he knew that's what his mother must be. He ran to the fireplace, reached up, and pulled the sealskin from its hiding place and held it out to his mother. Is this it? He asked. How did you find it? She asked, astonished at the sight of her skin. One day I was here alone with father, said the boy, and he took this from its hiding place and stared at it. He said it was special, and now I understand what it is. The woman embraced the sealskin, and then she reached for her child and embraced him. My darling, she whispered, I will always love you. And then, clasping the sealskin to her heart, she ran outside and down to the sea. She slipped into her skin and dived into the water. Soon after that, the fisherman and his children were heading home, and they rowed past a group of seals. The fisherman noticed a sleek young seal gazing at the boat, a strange expression on her face, and then he heard that seal cry, a plaintive sound as she disappeared under the water. When the fisherman arrived home, his youngest son told him what had happened, and he felt his heart break in two. But he understood that his son was a loving boy who was braver and more generous than he himself had ever been. The fishermen and the children missed the Selkie woman for the rest of their lives, but they knew that she was back and happy in the world where she belonged. But after that time, a seal would often spend ages swimming close to the shore, and they never went hungry, for the fisherman's net was always full of large, gleaming fish. So that is a very typical version of a Selkie bride story.
That's tragic and awful, but I kind of like that story. I really like that she went back to the sea.
Me too. She gets her freedom in the end. And I struggle with a lot of Selkie bride stories because like I genuinely feel so bad for her. And I will say that this version is not representative of all versions. Sometimes she takes her kids with her. Sometimes she doesn't, as in this one. But what I like about this story is that it gets at this tension between and this struggle between land and sea, where the Selkie's life on land represents like family and structure, and her life in the sea represents like freedom and being true to one's nature. And there are totally like more modern interpretations of this. I'm not saying like kidnapping a woman and forcing her to marry you equals family and structure, but when these stories started being told, that is likely what it did represent. And so in this Selkie bride story, the Selkie is a representation of the human struggle between those two things, like stability and freedom. Like everyone needs a space where they can feel safe and a space where they feel like they can be wild. And this story points out that you need both in order to be happy, and specifically that women need both in order to be happy. And I love it because I get excited when I see historical evidence of women being characterized as like not property.
Yeah, because like the thing, again, like you said, relative to the time in this version of the story, honestly, the number one thing that I clocked, besides him kidnapping her and trapping her and all that stuff, was the fact that after all that bad stuff was done, he was described as kind, which like still sucks, but I'm sure there's a lot of versions of the story where he's not, you know? I also love the fact that when she left the kids, and I know that that's like real hot take, you know, that I feel like that really does a good job describing that it's not like she wants to, it's that she needs to, like she is called to the sea. Like that pull is so strong that not even her children whom she loved could keep her there. That's interesting. I've never heard a story like that.
It's really interesting. And like to your point, there are absolutely interpretations of this that view her, and particularly like early interpretations that characterize her as like the evil woman who abandoned her family. And it's like all of her, like I am looking at it through a very 2026 lens. But even if we put on our like devil's advocate hats, like she abandons her family because she was put in a type of cage. And to see her as like the evil woman, like I still think that at its core, the Selkie bride is a cautionary tale for men about what happens when you act entitled to a woman's love and a woman's loyalty. You will be abandoned at the first safe opportunity. And like in this version of the story that I just told, the fisherman doesn't really face any kind of consequence for this other than his wife leaving him. Like he winds up being fine. He gets tons of, big fat fish, embarrassed, but not dead or anything. But that's not always the case with Selkie stories. Sometimes the female Selkie is much more vindictive and in some cases even bloodthirsty. So I'm going to tell you about the legend of Copaconin.
Okay.
So Copaconin means the seal woman, but it's also used as her name in some of the stories. So it might like slip in there like I'm using it as her name every now and then, but it's like more of a title, if that makes sense. And Copaconin's story comes from Iceland and the Faroe Islands region. And for anyone like me who did not take a geography class in high school, the Faroe Islands are... I'm like embarrassingly, geography. I'm this so bad at it.
Like, when I was switching my major, that was like a top contender. But then I was like, the fuck am I going to do with that? Anyway, now I have a podcast.
Anyway, it all worked out.
Anyway, everything's fine, guys. I'm doing great.
But the Faroe Islands, for anyone who doesn't know, they're a group of 18 islands that are just about halfway between Scotland and Iceland. It is absolutely stunning there. Like
it looks beautiful. I would love to go.
It's like a beautiful enchanted wonderland. And I'm going to tell you the Faroese version of Kopakonen's story, which takes place in a village on Kalsoy Island. And it starts pretty much the same way as the last one, so I'm not going to repeat everything. It's pretty much the same beats as before, like Selkies minding her own business. Some farmer dude steals her skin, forces her to marry him. They have kids, blah, blah, blah. She manages to get the seal skin back. She disappears into the waves. So like basically the same exact story as before. But this time she comes back because the farmer that took her skin, her like ex-husband guy, is planning on going seal hunting in a nearby cave. Yeah, he's not a kind farmer. He's a real piece of shit.
Gross.
And the night before this big hunt, Kopakonen appears to him in a dream and says that there's a large male seal guarding the cave that they're going to go hunting in. And there are also 2 seal pups in the cave. And Kopakonen says, "These are my husband and children. This is my like Selkie family. Please do not kill them." She like begs the farmer to spare her family. But the farmer didn't listen. And in the morning, he and the rest of the villagers killed every seal they could find, including Kopakonen's family. Yeah, it's very, very sad. It's a very sad story. That night, the villagers were celebrating their hunt together when the door suddenly burst open and Kopakonen entered as a, quote, horrible banshee.
Excellent.
Brilliant, right? Complete left turn. I'm happy again.
I love it.
Shit situation, but she's about to do some better shit. So Kopakonen let out a terrifying, bone-chilling wail, and she swore that in revenge for the murder of her loved ones, the people of the village and all of their descendants would be cursed. She said, "Some will die at sea and others will fall from the mountain peaks until there are as many dead as possible to tie hands all around the shores of Kalsoy Island." And then she disappeared in a crash of thunder.
Excellent. I love this.
Beautiful. And as the story goes, she is still collecting this debt to this very day. When someone in the village drowns at sea or falls from a cliff, it is said to be her collecting the souls that she is owed. And in 2014, the village actually erected a statue of Kopakonen.
Oh, fun.
I didn't see it while I was there because I didn't know all of this was a thing, but I've seen pictures of it. It's absolutely stunning. It comes from a Faroese sculptor named Han Polly Olsen, and it depicts a Selkie woman right on the edge of the water, standing on kind of like picture a rocky shoreline, and she's in the process of removing her seal skin. And the way the statue is positioned, it's like put in such a place and designed in such a way to withstand waves crashing around it. And so it's kind of like that one scene from The Little Mermaid where she's like on the rock. Yeah, but like revenge flavored. So I love it.
Right.
It's absolutely stunning.
I love this so much.
I love Selkies so much. And again, like the story of Kopakonen, the legend gets at that cautionary tale. Like you need to respect nature or nature will fuck you up. But the story of Kopakonen also alludes to Selkies as a way of like processing loss and grief as well. Because when you live in an area, like on the Faroe Islands, for example, that is surrounded by water, it has tons of dangerous cliff sides, and your livelihood relies on successfully navigating those two things, you do lose people every now and then. And one of the examples that I read said that, you know, if you're like a kid whose dad disappeared at sea, it's a lot easier to believe that he's with the Selkies than believing he drowned. And so Selkies are also kind of like a folkloric coping mechanism as well, which is really interesting.
Wait, that's so sad. I love that. Man, I want to be a Selkie so bad.
Me too, dude. Like mermaids and Selkies. I love aquatic folklore.
Man, this is great. See, the problem is I'm scared of the open water. Like I can't watch those videos of people like out at sea or scuba diving or anything. That's like a phobia of mine.
Well, you
But
know what?
boy,
I
do
think
I
might make you
wish
feel
that it
better.
wasn't. Oh yeah, tell
So
me, please do, because I want to be a selkie real bad.
I think you will like this. So
Okay.
there's lots of different versions of like when selkies are in their seal form, when they're under the water, where did they live? There's a lot of
Ooh,
different like
okay.
answers to that. One of the most well-known answers is that they live in kind of an Atlantis situation where it's basically like picture an underwater city in like a big air bubble. And so the Selkies put on their seal skin to swim to this Atlantis area. And then once they get home, they'll take off their seal skin again and live under the water as humans in this safe little bubble.
Oh my God, it's like a space station, but underwater.
Exactly. Yes.
Ooh, yeah, I
So
like
you
that.
would be safe.
I'll be a selkie then. Yeah,
I
I'm a
love that for
selkie.
you.
I know I'm saying this like this is an actual career option. Like, where do I sign up?
Where do I join the Selkie Union?
Yeah, man, that'd be so cool. That's so nice. I'm imagining like again, The Little Mermaid. Where was it called? Atlantica, but like
Yes.
you don't have to
Yes.
swim. Yeah,
Yeah. Just that with like you have legs.
in a bubble. Yeah, that would have solved a lot of Ariel's problems, though.
Yo. Like,
Yeah,
did she not think to just like go to the Selkie
just
neighborhood and
be
be
a
like, hey,
selkie. Girl, what are you doing? Just be a selkie.
come on.
Yeah.
Just make
Hello.
more money, bitch. What are you doing?
Done. What's next? What fairy tale can we solve next?
Oh, I love it. Another thing that I find really interesting about like Selkies is that the body of lore around them, and there's so much of it, is that it evolved in a way that uses seals specifically as like a representation of such human experiences, because a lot of the Selkie stories, they get at themes of like freedom and nature and grief, all things that are very, very essential parts of human experiences, but we use at least partially an animal to communicate them. And one of the reason why it's like channeled through seals specifically as an animal is because seals for a lot of these cultures were a massively important resource and were also highly respected. So you would use like the skin to make hide and leather. The meat would feed your family. The bones would be used for tools. You would use every single part of the seal in order to survive. And with that came this like very profound sense of respect and reverence for them as beings. And I love this so much. Archaeologists have actually found lots of different burial sites dating back thousands and thousands of years where human bones and seal bones were buried together.
Oh my God, no, that actually makes me emotional. Wait, I
It's
love
beautiful,
that.
right? And we don't think, we don't know, obviously, but we don't think it was like, a seal was buried with a person kind of deal. It was more like the resources that seals provided were so ingrained into the rhythm of life that, like, of course, you would be buried with your lucky seal teeth or your like seal bone pendant
Yeah.
or like your whatever, you know? And the most well-known instance of this is they discovered the bones of a human hand right next to the bones from a seal's flipper. And that site is about 6,000 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And my brain wants to believe that they were like best friends. That like,
Girl, same. I was like,
right?
oh my
Like,
God, they were each other's right-hand guy.
it was us.
Yeah, oh my God. No, because we both would want to be the seal. Okay, it was just
Completely
us,
agree.
but one of us was not wearing our seal skin.
That's exactly what it was. That's actually my
Yeah.
next bullet point is that their names were Kathryn and Gina. On the tombstone it said of Ice Cream Pod.
From how many thousands of years ago?
6,000. Yeah.
Okay.
We moisturize.
We look so
exfoliate.
good. I did exfoliate today.
Yes. So they could have been besties forever and ever. A more pragmatic, perhaps, way to look at it comes from an organization called the Scottish Archaeological Research Framework, aka SCARF.
Sweet. Oh my God, this is a great episode. I love this episode.
I love it so much. They have tons of information about Mesolithic lifestyles in Scotland, and they do speak about like this specific situation where a human hand was found next to a seal's flipper. And they say, quote, "This reflects a widespread characteristic of hunter-gatherer cosmology, that animal and human are not seen as sharply differentiated." And that's kind of what I want to end on, because there is so much that sits within Selkie lore. And I think a lot of it comes back to the whole, like, humans are animals thing. We are living an animal experience. We need freedom and nature just as much as any other animal does. And I think there's something really cool. And I get so excited about a body of lore that treats animals and humans as literally the same being operating within the same body. Because at the end of the day, we all end up in the same place, the dirt. And that's my episode.
You may be of land, you may be of sea, doesn't matter. Eventually, you're just gonna be underground.
Say it with me: worm food. So yeah, that's a very brief overview of Selkies.
I love that, man. I love Selkies. I mean, I know we talked about this, but I got so excited when I saw Selkies, because you and I both, our last 2 episodes this month are kind of like hemming and hawing. Where are we gonna land? Blah blah blah. So when I saw Selkies in the official list, I was like, oh, no way. Oh, I was so excited. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a really, if you ever want to fall down a rabbit hole, there's so much about Selkies.
Yeah. Have you, okay, I'm always hesitant to talk about books I loved when I was a child. Disclaimer, haven't read it in decades. Don't know if it's still appropriate, but have you ever read the book Seal Girl?
No.
It's literally just called Seal Girl. And Gina, it took me years to find this book, because it's one of those books where I just remember one scene. And every time I would explain it to people, they'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, that does not exist. I've never heard of that, blah, blah, blah. And I finally found it, and it's literally just called Seal Girl. For years, I would be Googling, like, book about the girl that is a seal, and, like, nothing would ever come up. It's called Seal Girl. I'll have to fact check this. I think it's called Seal Girl. It's something like that. And it's about a girl who is a seal as well. She's essentially a selkie. I don't think it's ever named that that's what she is. But I just remember this one scene of her. I don't remember how it happened. I don't remember the storyline at all. So I don't know if it's something that happened to her or if she was born that way or anything like that. But there's this one specific scene about her, like, discovering, you know, this about herself, and she's like learning to swim and all that. And she's in this, like, I don't know what you would call it, like almost like a wade pool sized body of water. What's it called when it, like, comes up off the beach and there's a little spot?
Is it a tidal pool? Is that what they're called? Tide?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something. I know exactly what you're talking about, though.
Yeah. It's like a tidal pool or whatever those are called. And because she's, like, in that spot because she doesn't want to be out in the open sea, but she wants to be in the seawater, you know? And she's, like, flipping around and blah, blah, blah. And the reason I remember that's the only scene I remember, because I remember so viscerally, like, I want that to be me so bad. Oh my God, I wanted it so bad. I was like, how cool would that be?
I relate to that so hard. Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, we grew up with, like, a mall, when malls were, like, still a big thing. We had a mall that was less than half a mile away from us, so we used to go there all the time. And they had one of those big, so lucky. They used to have, like, one of those big fountains in the mall. And so we would go there when we were kids and, like, toss coins in and make wishes. And every single time I would wish I was a mermaid in that fountain. Like, I would just hang out in the shower because I was scared of the ocean. I didn't want to get eaten by a shark.
Yes. Yeah, it's not safe. A freshwater selkie. How cool would that be? I could just hop into the Lake Michigan real quick, come back, be home in time for dinner.
Catch a grouper.
Oh my God. That'd be so cool. Love it.
Speaking of something very sweet and lovely, do you have a scary on top for me?
Yeah, I don't know if it's sweet or lovely. I tried to go neutral on this one because I was gonna try to do, like, feel good because I was so excited for Selkies, but then I was like, honestly, nothing's gonna top talking about Selkies, so why even try? So it is beach related. I looked for, like, a beach related ghost story on Reddit.
Ooh.
So yeah. And I like the vibes of this one, so that's why I went with it. The title is the ever so descriptive, I saw something on the beach.
Me too, you know?
Yes, I know. And that was submitted by user Wizzy222. And it's a few years old. I found it in the paranormal subreddit. And actually, I do want to say one thing about it. I was kind of pleasantly surprised because I get a little sick of the paranormal subreddit every now and then because people are so skeptical all the time because they try so hard to debunk things, which I understand totally, but it gets to the point where it's like, you all are just closed-minded at this point. Like, not everything's as explainable as you make it out to be. But this is one of the first stories I've seen, or read, I guess I should say, where people in the comments were like, oh, were you at such and such beach? Yeah, you saw a ghost. Like, people were like on board.
Damn.
So, yeah,
Okay.
isn't that fun? Yeah.
Sweet.
It says, last July, I lived in Wilmington, North Carolina with a couple of my buddies from high school. One night, me and my friend decided to go to the beach after midnight to just escape and talk about life. Immediately, yes, immaculate vibes.
Yeah, totally.
It gets better. He says, we get to the beach around midnight and we decided to go sit in the vacant lifeguard tower to chat. So good.
That's
so much
beautiful.
fun.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. I love a late night trespassing beach chat story. This is just so good. Yeah. Now, it was a Saturday night, so there were a lot of other people around on the beach. We were used to this. While we were talking on this tower, I noticed a man from kind of far away. He was wearing all black and walking towards us from near the pier. The pier is about 200 feet from where we were. Like I said before, there were many other people on the beach, so I just kind of ignored him and kept on with our conversation. About 20 minutes go by, and the people are starting to leave the beach. This thing is still slowly making its way toward us. Now my friend is aware of it, and we both kind of stop and observe it for a little while. The figure was about 5 to 6 feet tall, kind of looked like a drunk man slowly shuffling toward us. He was wearing a black t-shirt and black pants with a black cap on. The eerie thing about him was we could not make out any facial features whatsoever. As I said before, there were several other people at the beach that night, and we could make out the faces of every single one of them. But this thing was different. We couldn't see anything. The figure was getting close. Sorry.
Cinema's like, no!
She's like, no! It's
That's scary as fuck!
She's like one of those people in the movie theater who's like, wow, holy shit! Like, no, no,
Don't go in there!
upstairs! Yeah, exactly. The figure is getting close to the lifeguard tower we were at, so my friend and I kind of went into a little bit of a fight or flight mode as it approached us. Both of us got silent and watched as the figure shuffled up right underneath the tower. We immediately started looking around to see which direction he went, but he was nowhere to be seen. Because he had been moving so slowly and we were paying such close attention to him, there was nowhere he could have gone without us seeing him. He was just simply gone. We decided to leave very shortly after that, and we didn't really speak much about it in the car ride home. The part that still haunts me is the lack of a face. It was just like looking into a black void. What do you think we saw that night? Someone help. And yeah, I mean, like
Demon.
I said, like truly, people in the comments were straight up like, oh, and I will say another detail. Someone asked a good question about whether or not there were any footprints or anything. And he said, no, there was no indication in the sand that anyone had been walking where he was. And everyone else, like normal, you leave prints, or you like, if it's wet sand, you leave footprints. If it's dry sand, you kind of kick it around a little bit. And he said there were no tracks or anything like that. So many people were like, where were you at in Wilmington? Like, what beach was this? And he described where he was, and they were like, yeah, dog, you saw a ghost, like just straight up. I don't think there was any, I mean, there were people who were like, oh, maybe it was just, you know, some down and out guy, blah, blah, blah. But then once he said there were no tracks and which beach he was on, they were like, oh, actually, it may have been a ghost.
Actually, never mind.
Yeah, just kidding. You were not safe. Sorry.
That's because I was picturing them in the lifeguard thingy. I was picturing one of the ones that's like super high off the ground. I don't know if that's what you were
Yeah.
picturing.
Yeah, yes, it was a
Okay.
tower. It was like
Okay.
on stilts. So the figure goes like underneath that and like is
That
gone.
is
But it's not,
terrifying.
yeah, but it wasn't like a building. It wasn't like where it was just it was like they
Okay.
look like high chairs.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's exactly what I was picturing. All
Yeah.
right. That's even fucking scarier to me then. Because there's like that, at least when you're in something like that, I imagine there would be like a false sense of security of like, even
Yeah.
though there's like this creepy dude shuffling down there, like I'm up high. If he tries to climb up, I can kick him in the face. I'm in the defensible position. But if they then disappear and you can't see
Where
where
did they
they went,
go?
the
Yeah.
fear of getting down off that tower.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh.
Almost at that point, it's worst case scenario is it isn't a figure, it really is a human, and they're like hiding under there,
Yeah.
waiting for you to climb down.
Ugh.
Yeah.
To like grab your ankle while you climb down. Oh my God. Get your feet off the ground. Get your feet off the ground.
Yeah. Awful.
Oh, beach ghost. Well, that was scary as hell.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, I was going to say I prefer the Selkie story, but I actually did like that story. So thank you
That's a
for
good
submitting
story.
that to Reddit. Wizzy222, however many years ago. Just different vibes, I'll say. Different vibes.
Extremely different vibes. Yeah.
Cool. Well, if any of you out there have a spooky story or any type of story, it doesn't have to be spooky vibes, can be any of the vibes, send them to iscreamyouScreampod@gmail.com. And friendly reminder, we are on Patreon, so go join us over there and rate and review wherever you listen. That really helps us out. And yeah, until next time, Little Spoons, keep it cool.
Keep it creepy.